Several current and former military officials, diplomats, and intelligence officers say that while fighting drugs is the pretext for the recent U.S. attacks, the real goal is to drive Mr. Maduro from power one way or another. So Trump had just bombed another fishing boat off of Venezuela under the guise of we're fighting narco-terrorism. And so let's remember why Trump is really bombing boats and sending the U.S. Navy battleships down to Venezuela. Why?
How about we're buying oil from Venezuela? When I left, Venezuela was ready to collapse. We would have taken it over. We would have gotten all that oil. It would have been right next door. But now we're buying oil from Venezuela, so we're making a dictator very rich. Can you believe this? Nobody can believe it. You know where the oil, their oil is garbage. It's horrible.
So that's why Trump is doing this, because they've got more oil than Saudi Arabia. But guess who just admitted it? The New York Times. So Branko Marcetic, who does some good work sometimes, and here's one of the things he did. He said, for some reason, the New York Times relegates its own very important reporting about Trump's regime change plans for Venezuela to the 11th paragraph. You want to see what they say in the 11th paragraph?
Okay.
So this is the headline, Kurt. U.S. military buildup in Caribbean signals broader campaign against Venezuela.
Finally.
So do you want to know what they say in the 11th paragraph? Here it is. Several current and former military officials, diplomats, and intelligence officers say that while fighting drugs is the pretext for the recent U.S. attacks, the real goal is to drive Mr. Maduro from power one way or another. That's in this article. This article from September 20th.
Oh, I thought it was from No Shit Magazine.
Yeah.
It was from New York Times, you say.
So here's what they say. The U.S. military strikes this month on 3 boats that Trump's administration officials have asserted were smuggling drugs in the Caribbean Sea have cast a spotlight on this sizable naval armada and aerial fleet of spy aircraft that the Pentagon has dispatched to the region in what it says is a counter-narcotics and counter-terrorism mission. Well, I just showed you that's not what it is. Trump admitted he gave the game away when he was running for president. He said it's all about the oil. Military officials, diplomats, and analysts say a main purpose of the force is to ratchet up pressure on Venezuela's president, Nicolas Maduro, as top figures in the Trump administration call him an illegitimate leader and accuse him of directing the actions of criminal gangs and drug lords. Okay, drug cartels. We're not going to have a cartel operating or masquerading as a government operating in our own hemisphere, said Marco Rubio. And Mr. Maduro had been indicted in the United States and was a fugitive of American justice. There's a reward out for his capture. They have him. So this is how the New York Times reported this. So this is what they're saying. They're keeping the narrative up, so they keep it going. They have a military presence in the Caribbean, including F-35 fighters in Puerto Rico, suggests the United States plans to do more than blow up small vessels. But the scope of the operation remains unclear. A 4,500-member force currently aboard 8 warships is too small to invade Venezuela. And it is not operating in the main body of water to carry out a major drug interdiction campaign. So it's not about the drugs. That would be the Eastern Pacific Ocean, region's experts say. The clandestine deployment of elite special operation forces suggests that strikes or commando raids inside Venezuela itself may be in the works. Administration officials refuse to say what U.S. military action might... This is how they're reporting it before they get to the truth. So they have to tell you 10 paragraphs of lies. So asked on Air Force One on route back to Washington from Britain on Thursday if he had discussed regime change in Venezuela with Mr. Rubio or any of his military leaders, Trump said no. Caroline Leavitt, the White House press secretary, said recently that the administration was prepared to use every element of American power to stop drugs from flooding in our country to bring those responsible to... In a news conference this week, Mr. Maduro condemned the first strike carried out on a Venezuelan boat on September 2nd as heinous crime and military attack on civilians who were not at war and were not militarily threatening any country. He said that if the United States believed that the boat's passengers were drug traffickers, they should have been arrested. He accused the administration of trying to start a war. Shortly after the news conference, the U.S. military struck a second boat. So that's all the stuff that's how New York Times is reporting it. And then finally, they get to the truth. Several current and former military officials, diplomats, and intelligence officers say that while fighting drugs is the pretext for the recent U.S. attacks, the real goal is to drive Maduro from power one way or another. So it took all this writing,
And
all
the New York
that
Times
writing.
that hates Trump.
New York Times
doesn't like Trump.
that hates Trump, but loves
they
him
love
when
regime change.
they love Trump when he's doing the wrong thing, which is trying to overthrow another government for their oil. And that's what this is. So they wrote all this stuff before they got to the truth. All that stuff before they got to the truth.
Well, if this goes as well as their drive to get Putin out of power, Maduro should be a president for life.
That's got to be a proud feeling for the fighter pilot as he blows up a 5-man wooden boat. Mission accomplished. Hey, Daddy, what did you do in the war? Shut up and eat your fish sticks.
I know I feel proud whenever I blow up a 5-man wooden boat, but I'm not the United States.
Micah chapter 2, verse 2. And they covet fields, and take them by violence, and houses, and take them away. So they oppress a man and his house, even a man and his heritage. Shalom. First and foremost, I want to start off by giving all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham Yahushai, Bahasham Rakah Kodash. Double honor unto the apostles and the elders of the great millstone who rule well. Peace and salutations unto the hopeful elect, beginning with the 144,000 men. All right. You know, his own mouth is revealing him. All right. Just roughly paraphrasing. All right. You know, his own tongue, all right, is falling upon himself. All right. Now, speaking about Esau, Edom, and Trump, and Babylon, the Great America. You know, the war that they're trying to wage against Venezuela. All right. You know what? This channel is the Jimmy Dore show. All right, with Jimmy Dore, basically we're saying that you know there's a whole bunch of lies. You know, they wrote how much paragraphs of lies, and then eventually they came back to the truth. And that's who these devils are. They are Edom, Esau, Edom. All right, the Edomites, the wicked, the Bible speaks of according to Malachi 1 and 4. All right, and they you know, the earth was given into the hands of the wicked, Job 9 and 24, by the Heavenly Father. So this is what they do. They go and take people's heritage and whatnot, which the oil is the heritage of the tribe of Asher, because the Venezuelans are for the most part the tribe of Asher. All right, in prophecy, in Deuteronomy 33rd chapter, Moses prophesied and said that, you know, Asher's foot will be dipped in oil. All right. And Venezuela has the largest oil reserve in the world. Okay. So this is Psalm 58 and verse 2. It says, Yea, in heart ye work wickedness. Ye weigh the violence of your hands in the earth. Right. This proves you all are the revised Roman Empire. Right. The hands represent your power, your military might. Right. The wicked are estranged from the womb. They go astray as soon as they be born. What? Speaking lies. Speaking lies. All right. And that's exactly what Jimmy Dore was revealing about them. Which he himself most likely is an Edomite. But he's revealing them. All right. That they're the liars. You know, 10 paragraphs of lies. And then you come and summarize with the truth at the end. All right. And that's what these devils do. All right. This is Psalm 64 and 8. So they shall make their own tongue to fall upon themselves. All that see them shall flee away. So the man of sin is being revealed. Right? The man of sin is being revealed according to 2 Thessalonians 2. Right? When it says, in fact, let me see if I can get 2 Thessalonians 2 and verse 8. It says, and then, no, in fact, verse 7, it says, for the mystery of iniquity doth already work. Only he who now letteth will let until he be taken out of the way. Before, people didn't understand, you know, even in the Revelation, I believe it's the 17th chapter, you know, who Babylon the Great was. Now we know it's America. Right? Now 2 Thessalonians 2 and 8 says, and then shall that wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. With the prophets. Alright? And, you know, his own people revealing him. Right? Their own tongue falling upon themselves and showing that they are the liars of the earth. They really want that oil. They don't want to attack Venezuela to stop any drugs. They want that oil. They want it cheap. They want to maintain their hegemony of the dollar on the world. That's the truth. That's the full truth. All right, let's get another precept. This is Job 15. And you know, we heard it from Trump's mouth. Wait, you heard it from Trump's mouth. I believe that was when he was on election campaign. All right, but this is Sirach 19 and verse 16. There's one that slippeth in his speech, but not from his heart. And who is he that had not offended with his tongue? All right, so he made a slip and told you the truth about it. You know, they have to buy from a dictator. Imagine that. Buy oil, they don't want that. And it's not only that, because he's a Jake. All right, they want that control. They want that oil, although it's not theirs. All right, it says Job 15 and verse 6. Thine own mouth condemneth thee, and not I. Yea, thine own lips testify against thee. You've been found out from your own lips. All right, from your own lips. Okay, Job 20 and 27. All right, it says, the heaven shall reveal his iniquity. Right, and it's going back into the unicorn, right, the internet. Seen it here. The heaven shall reveal his iniquity, and the earth shall rise up against him. And that's when BRICS and all these other nations, even their own NATO countries, going to come up against them. That's what's going to happen to these devils. They're not going to be able to hide themselves. Everybody's going to be against them soon enough. They're going to hate the whore, right, and they're going to burn her with fire. All right. You know, right now, China and Russia are already back in Venezuela. But this thing is going to escalate, all right, from rumors of wars into the war, all right? So best believe this devil is revealed. I pray this lesson was edifying. Till the next time, Shalom, Wa Harag Babal.